I want to start this podcast off with a quote. A jack of all trades is a master of none. I hate that quote. for, for me, I love to prove people wrong. I remember growing up, learning how to drive. My dad would teach me how to drive. Other days, my mother would teach me how to drive. My dad, he is a rule breaker. He just says, do this, do that, whatever, you good to go. My mom, she's more by the book, by the rules. So I remember I was driving with my mother and I missed a turn. So, when you miss a turn, you gotta make a U-turn. My mom was like, oh, that sign says you're not supposed to make a U-turn, so just keep driving down. And I'm just like, I'm about to make this U-turn. You just said, oh, you don't, you might not want to. It's a skinny road, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm about to make this U-turn. So I made the U-turn and she was like, oh man, wow, that was a skinny road. I can't believe you was able to do that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I did it, because I wanted to prove her wrong that she didn't think I was capable of making that U-turn, but I want to show her that, I'm capable of making that U-turn. But to get back to that quote, a jack of all trades is a master of none. So my mindset to prove people wrong, I didn't want to believe that I can't be good at everything. I have to select one thing to be good at. I said, no, it's no way. I'm not believing that quote. Whoever wrote that quote is stupid and I didn't like it. But now growing up, being an adult and having so many different experiences, I realized that that quote is actually true. And I'm going to tell you why. But before we get there, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jelan Abrams, the host of the Unknown and Talented podcast. And today we're going to talk about being a master of one thing. So going back to that quote, jack of all trades, but a master of none. I'm going to break it down just in case you're not understanding the meaning of that. So a jack of all trades, you have so many different hats. You can do so many different things. You can be a cook. You can be a coach. You can be a social media influencer. You can be a salesperson. It's so many things you can do, but you're not great at one thing. But you can do a lot of things very well. What I think about is the 10,000 hours kind of thing they have. It's just stating that once you spend 10,000 hours in a certain craft, you become a master of it. But having so many different hats and you're all over the place, you can never have that time to get that 10,000 hours. Because if you have 5 different hats, you're doing 5 different activities, that time is spread. That's 2,000 hours in each one. You're never going to hit that 10,000 hours. So for me, growing up, I'm extremely competitive. I grew up in a competitive household. My mom, dad, extremely competitive. My sisters, extremely competitive. We love playing Uno, Monopoly, Dominoes, Taboo. Anything you could think of, we was playing a game. We was playing a game for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, people's birthdays. We got a barbecue. It don't matter what's going on. We're going to end the night off by playing a game because somebody got to win. Somebody got to be the best before the night's up. So that was always my mindset, even to the point of playing with my friends. Playing with my friends, I want to be the best. If we're playing basketball outside, I want to be the best. I was in a household that we have to be the best. Nobody's going to go to sleep until somebody's win. We'll be up all night playing Monopoly. It's not going to be no truce or nothing. Somebody got to win that game. So even to the point now, like my 7-year-old nephew, he's into it now. He's about to be just as competitive, probably even more competitive than all of us because he's starting young. My mom told me that he was crying the other night. It was her, my dad, and him play Uno and had him crying. I'm just like, that's nothing to brag about. Yeah, the 7-year-old crying over Uno, like that's not nothing to brag about, but that's just my household and that's how we grew up. So it's always have that competitive edge. And even me growing up playing anything with my friends, I want to be the best. If we're playing basketball, I want to be the best. If we're playing football, I want to be the best. If we're running or doing races, I want to be the best. And I remember every time we played basketball, somebody was fighting. Somebody's fighting all the time. And that's the only time I fought. I was probably the most silent, quiet, cool, chill person you could meet. But playing basketball and being in that competitive arena, if I have a problem, I'm gonna be arguing and I'm gonna be fighting, which is crazy, especially my kind of personality. But that's just the kind of person I am. So to hear a quote that I can't be good at everything, I had a problem with that because I grew up thinking that anything I do, I have to be the best. So now fast forward, I'm a content creator. Content creators, that can mean anything. You could be, the Instagram influencer, TikTok, they got YouTube, they got Twitter, they got podcasts, they got so many different things. And the minute I became a content creator, I wanted to do all of those things. So right now I have an Instagram where I'm pumping out content. I have an Instagram fitness page where I'm pumping out everyday fitness content. I have a YouTube where I'm posting podcasts, also posting vlogs and posting YouTube shorts on there. I have TikTok where I'm posting podcast episodes, fitness stuff. What else? And a podcast where everything is audio. So I'm doing so many different things and I want every single one of them to blow up at the same time. But what I realized I was doing, I was spreading myself too thin. So being in so many different buckets, trying to be popping on Instagram, popping on TikTok, popping on YouTube, get my podcast popping, I wasn't spending any time or perfecting any kind of craft. Like I wasn't able to look down and saying, okay, this worked, this didn't work, and be able to improve it. I'm just saying, yo, one of these things gonna work. I'm throwing anything out there, trying to make something stick, something shake. And I realized that I can't do that. I realized that trying to spread myself out to so many different avenues, it's not gonna work. So I decided to take a step back, reflect, and said, this quote, "A jack of all trades is the master of none," might actually be true. Yes, I can do a bunch of different things, but I'm not great at anything because I'm spreading myself out way too thin. And that's what I really want to make sure I drill in your head today is that you don't want to spread yourself out too thin. You want to focus on one thing. So chasing this life of being a content creator and realizing that I can't do it all, I have to focus on one thing, it reminded me of a book that I read years ago. The book is called The One Thing by Gary Keller. This book really breaks down why it's so important to focus on one thing. The message in this book is you have to find one thing that you can do. And by doing this one thing, everything else in your life will improve. So instead of trying to be all over the place, this one thing that you're focusing on and cutting out all the distractions of everything else that you're trying to chase. Focus on this. And then once you achieve this, you'll be able to achieve everything else, X everything off on your list. And what you want to think about dominoes. If you have dominoes and you have them all built up one behind the other, once you push that first domino, the rest of them are just going to fall down. And that's exactly what one thing does. You focus on that one thing. You're focusing on that first domino. Once you achieve that first domino, everything else is good. But if you're trying to push dominoes down one at a time, it's not going to work like that because you're going to still have dominoes that you have to, do. So focus on that one thing. And then once you push that thing down, everything else is going to be good. And if you don't believe me, I want to break down this myth for you. So many people state that you need multiple streams of income. I've heard a saying that if you don't have 7 streams of income, you're never going to be rich. Yes, that's true and false at the same time. So the people that are stating that you need multiple streams of income are already rich. They already found one thing that they can do to make them have riches. And then now the next stage is to be wealthy. You have to use that one avenue that you found money that's pumping you the most money. Now you can diversify into different things. I think about the show Shark Tank. Every single one of those people are rich. And now they're trying to find other businesses to invest in. The people that are on the show that's trying to get a deal, they have one business. They don't have 7 different businesses. They want that one business to pop off. Once that one business pops off, Now they have room to do other things, but they have to focus on that one business. And that saying of 7 streams of income, it's not going to work because you have, like, I probably have 7 streams of income right now. I work for this company. I have dividends that I'm getting. I got what is it called? Royalties from music. I got money come. No, not 7, but you got a little bit of money coming from different places. So it's technically not a having 7 streams of income and they're not really pumping you money or making changes for you. It's not really nothing. Getting 10 cents in dividends is technically another stream of income, but come on now, like that's not going to be life changing. So multiple streams of income is cool, but you want to make sure you find one thing that's your main source of income. And once you get that main source of income and you pretty much max that out, now it's time to diversify and go into different avenues where now you can make more money. Your first step is to identify your one thing. What is that one thing you can do that if done, everything in your life could change? Success is one step at a time. Right now, the NBA playoffs is going on. And these players are thinking one game at a time. Because you can't think too far in the future. You think about winning this one game, and then now we're going to win the next game. Then we got to win the next game. It's just one game at a time. Because if you're thinking too far ahead, you're thinking you got 3 games up on this team, you think you're about to go to the next round right away. It's not going to happen like that. It's going to be a 7-game series, best of 7. Having 3 is not getting that next round. You got to get at least 4. So you never want to look too far ahead. You want to take it one step at a time. If you're a Snowfall fan, think about it. I built this brick by brick, one brick at a time. And that's the same way you have to think about it. So think of what can you do. Let's say, for example, you want to improve your health. Okay, so the one thing you want to do to improve your health is eat better. That's your one thing. Your one thing is I want to eat better. It might be I need to work out because I'm not moving enough. I sit down all day and that really interrupts my back. I can't do blank after work. I can't do this. Work on working out. And that could be your one thing. If your one thing is getting more money, you might have to work on getting a master's. That can be your one thing. You find that master's, now you have another avenue. Now you have another avenue to make more money. Or it might just be certifications in work. You got to complete a certain test and now you get more money automatically. So you just got to think about what is one thing that's going to change your life and just sit down and think about it. Write a list at everything that you need done and then put it through 1 through 5. This is probably the most important and start working on that. For me, my one thing will be finding a second stream of income. I know. I might sound like a hypocrite because I just said you don't need multiple streams of income. But what I did say is that once you max out that first stream of income, now you can go ahead and try to find something else. So at my job, my income is maxed out. You have to work in that job for a year before you even get a chance at applying for another position. I just got in this position like 3 months ago. So I got 9 months before I even get a chance at going to another position. So my thing right now is that I need more income. I'm going to find that second stage of income because at the end of the day, my biggest thing that I want is time. I want my time back. I'm working 8 hours a day. The lunch is 9 hours. Commute, that's a total of 10 hours a day. And I love creating content, and that takes away from my time to create content, takes away my time to work out, takes away time from spending time with my wife. It takes a lot of time out of it. So I kind of want that flexibility back. And to be able to get that flexibility, I need more income. And then once I get that more income, I get exactly what I want. So you're thinking about that domino. The domino is more income. Once you push that down, now I have flexibility. Now I'm able to work out. Now I'm able to spend time with my wife. Now I'm able to be creative. All these things are getting knocked down because I got that first domino, which was finding my second stream of income. Because at the end of the day, time is money. I think about this movie, and I'm not going to kill this movie at all. This movie was called In Time by Justin Timberlake. It was a great movie. I think the idea of it was genius. So if you haven't seen it, it basically just speaks on everybody in this world knows how much time they have. Their time is going to be on their wrist. If they worked, they got more time. Whatever they bought, that took away time. So if they wanted to eat something, it took away time. If they wanted to buy a car, it took away time. And the only way for them to get time back is by working. And the reason why I think this movie was so genius is because that's kind of what we do now. If you're getting paid $25 an hour, you're kind of working for time. Like that's your time. The time that you're giving them, they're paying you your time, $25 an hour. Like you're basically working for more time. And you think about like eating wise, you want to live longer, you're going to eat healthier. Healthier food costs more money. So it's just like I said, it was a genius idea of exactly how they did it. Another idea is like I said, cars. The fancier the car you have, the more time it takes away from you. You know, you got to work more hours to get better car or get a better job. You have to do different things, but it was just a genius idea of just showing how valuable time was. So if you haven't watched that movie, check it out. But time is extremely important, and that's kind of what I want back. I want to be able to find that place where I'm able to get my time back to do the things that I really love. So once you find that one thing, the next thing you have to do is eliminate your distractions. So you find that one thing and you say, okay, this is the one thing I want to do, but I also want to do this. I also want to have a hair salon. I also want to be a clothing designer. And you find different things you want to do, you're gonna have to X all that out. That whatever that one thing you picked, that's what you're gonna have to do, and you have to focus on that. And the easiest way to cut out those distractions is to schedule everything. Everything you want to accomplish, schedule it in your day. The same way when you go to work and that 8 hours you there, they working you for all them 8 hours. They want you in a certain place at a certain time for all 8 hours. And that's how their company is able to move so smoothly, because all the workers are doing exactly what they want to do at this certain time. And that's what you have to do in your life. You know that from 9 to 5, I'm at work. From 5 to 9, I got each hour allocated to exactly what I need to get done. And that's how you're going to become successful and eliminate those distractions. Because if you don't have those time blocks and everything scheduled, you're going to find something else to do that's not going to be helpful for that one thing. Like social media is extremely addictive. They make it addictive. They want you to stay on there as long as possible. That's why as a content creator, when you make content and people are spending a lot of time watching that content, they're gonna push your content because now they know this is gonna make people stay on the app longer. I think about TikTok. It's a genius name. They taking your time. TikTok. The time is going. That was a genius name, because that's what they're trying to do, is take as much time away from you as possible. And to go back, like I said, time is your most valuable asset. So you want to make sure you spend all your time on that one thing so everything else can be great. So you want to start off with eliminate distractions, and you do that by scheduling everything. And the third and last step is tracking your progress. Once you set that one thing and cut all the distractions, you got to know if what you're doing is actually working. Because if you're not looking back and seeing your results, you're not going to be able to get to your goal, because you didn't realize that all that eating healthy you were doing wasn't doing nothing for the scale. So you're going to have to actually change it up or go harder. When I think about tracking progress, I think about someone going for their masters. And when you're going for your master's, you have to complete certain courses. So every time you complete a course, you can check it off to realize how much closer you are to getting to that master's degree. And that's another way not only to make sure you're going in the right direction, but also motivate you to keep going. Because let's say I don't have my master's, I don't have my bachelor's, so I have no idea. So we gonna just guess. But let's just say for the master's, you need 10 courses, right? 10 courses could look like a big deal, super hard to do, but every time you complete one course, I got 9 more to go. okay, I got 8 more to go. I got 7 more to go. Because it also keeps you motivated now. So now it's not the big picture of having 10 tasks. Now you might only have five courses left. And now once you complete those 5 courses, you got your masters. So that's what you want to do. You want to think about, most people want to lose weight or get in shape. Think about your week. How many times did you work out this week? Did you work out 3 times this week, 4 times, 5 times? Every time you get to a week and you end up hitting your goal of how many times you work out, okay, I did it. I did 1 week of working out 4 times a week. Check it off. Next week, oh, I did 4 times a week this week as well. Check it off. And now you're able to see that the work you put in, is it showing up on the scale or is it showing up in the mirror? And then you realize that, okay, what I'm doing is actually working. But if you're doing these steps and nothing is changing, you have to change something up. So if you decided to work out 1 day a week and you're not seeing any results, you might have to step it up to 2. So for me, the way I'm tracking the progress is, once I found that second stream of income, now I'm seeing how much money am I be able to get from this. Is this second stream of income that I found, does this going to make sense to continuously do for the long haul? Did I find something that's going to be able to help me get my time back? Because it couldn't be a second stream of income. I could just get another job. That's technically a second stream of income, but then I'm not going to have any time. And that kind of goes back into what I'm trying to do in the first place, is get my time back, which would not be beneficial. So you want to kind of always look back at what that goal is and what you're actually doing, if it's actually helping you do what you wanted to do in the first place. And if it's not, you have to cut it off and actually try something different. So that's pretty much it. This episode was pretty cool to talk about. I don't talk about books too often on this podcast, but like I stated, One Thing by Gary Keller. I pretty much broke this down pretty great, but you can always check the book out. This is the person that inspired me to create this podcast episode. So hopefully it can inspire you to find one thing and actually do something productive with that one thing to help you change your life. Me, I'm on the way to find that second stream of income that's going to change my life. You're going to end up working on that master's degree. You're going to end up working on losing that weight. You're going to end up finding that second stream of income to be able to escape your job. But until next time, my name is Jelan Abrams. You're going to make sure you subscribe. You're going to make sure you leave a comment. You're going to make sure you leave a thumbs up and also a review for the podcast. All right? We are Unknown and Talented, and we'll see you next week.